Okay. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com, Restored Motions, RestoredMotions.com, and ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. Well, ladies and gents, the great thing about baseball is when things don't go well, you don't have to wait a week to stew over it. Generally, you get to get right back out there and play again. So, LSU plays McNeese tonight. McNeese, pretty good team, 32-18 on the year. This is a series LSU has had a lot of success, but McNeese has split the last 6 with LSU. They beat LSU back-to-back years, 2016, 2017. And then McNeese won here in 2019. And then LSU's won the last 2 years that they played. They didn't play in 2020, in the COVID year. Of course, McNeese coached by Justin Hill, who pitched at LSU in 01 and 02. He's in his 10th season at McNeese, and he's had a lot of success there, man. So, they're a solid team. Gotta go play well tonight, get this win. So, one of the good things again about baseball is get right back out there and do it again. Much calmer this morning. I don't think I'll let any of your Trey Morgan comments get me antsy. Some of you who were not watching live yesterday, who went and watched the show on demand, messaged me throughout the day laughing about my walk-off yesterday. I'm better now. I will not let the Trey Morgan comments bother me, especially on a day when Trey Morgan made an incredible SportsCenter top 10 diving catch at the line in left field. But that's just a 3-year-old conversation that I've been having with you all about how Trey Morgan is never going to be a first baseman at the next level, but whatever. Anyway, we'll say some good mornings. You probably also noticed there in the description of today's show, big AFR news. For those that missed the post last night, the press release went out yesterday. AFR is expanding again. So many thanks to my good friends over at Delta Media in Lafayette. We have kind of flirted several times over the years about putting AFR on their lineup at 103.7 The Game. Well, Delta Media is now going to take on the ESPN affiliation in that market. And so they're flipping to ESPN 103.7. But Delta Media also owns 104.1 in Lake Charles. And they will be simulcasting the station. So starting June 26th, you will now be able to hear After Further Review weekdays 3 to 6, same time, of course, just picking up the show in Syndicate. So on ESPN 103.7 in Lafayette and ESPN 104.1 in Lake Charles. So starting on June 26th, you will have the entire I-10 corridor, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Lake Charles. Of course, our folks at Senlot Broadcasting in Alexandria continuing to carry AFR on 94.7. YouTube, stream, 98.1 HD2, all that stuff is still there. And of course, TV in the Baton Rouge area, WBTR. So that's cable 19. So if you're in the Baton Rouge area, you can always watch us. A lot of people are still finding that every day. People who used to enjoy watching on CST, and of course CST ceased operations. So we were without a linear TV option, but we have it now, again, with our friends at WBRZ on their cable 19. So I'm really excited, man. I look at all of our numbers. I know my numbers. I know my metrics. I know my audience. I know where they are. I know how people stream. I know how people listen on HD2. I know where people are when they watch on YouTube. So we have such a big audience in Southwest Louisiana. And for LSU and Saints fans, it is a very underserved market. It's not to say people don't do a great job there. Please don't misunderstand me. My point is, you don't have a ton of content that is centered on LSU, Saints, etc. You do have shows in Lafayette that center around ULL. You have shows in Lake Charles that center around McNeese, which is fine. And a lot of those shows will still continue to exist, but it's going to serve a preponderance of the sports fans that want to hear more about the Tigers. So I'm fired up for it. It is untapped, and to have had the response I have in a very short amount of time on some of the social media posts, it has been awesome and overwhelming, but exactly what I thought it would be, quite honestly. So anyway, June 26th, set a button. Tell your friends in Lafayette. June 26th, AFR will be on ESPN 1037. And June 26th in Lake Charles, AFR will be on ESPN 1041. Set a button. Okay, let's get into it. We'll say some good mornings here. Bart St. Germain, Kelly Gross, Jeff McKithen. Hey, Dad, good morning. Brant Roban, good morning. Let's see, gonna have the mindset the Tigers are very talented. Trust JJ will grind, figure it out. Here's the thing, Brant. At some point, I don't know how much more a coach can grind or figure something out. Guys have to take the ball and go be competitive on the mound and make good pitches. At the college level, you can pitch. You can throw strikes. So really, this is one where I'll flip it and say, man, these pitchers have got to go to the mound with a mindset where they're going to go throw strikes and challenge hitters and make good pitches. And we've seen them do it. That's sort of the frustrating thing with it. Like, we've seen Thatcher Hurd be really good. We've seen Nate Ackenhausen be really good. We've seen Griffin Herring and Gavin Guidry be really good. Javen Coleman, I think, is good. Ty Floyd, we know Paul Skeens, of course, is awesome. We have seen Riley Cooper get outs. Look, Riley Cooper almost got you home the other day. He stopped the bleeding. The guy's got a rubber arm. Much respect. You can give him the ball whenever. So my point is, like, you got guys that have gotten you outs and can get you outs. Just got to do it more consistently. And that's it's the challenge. We'll see. Chase Pellegrin, Bubba Smith, Darren Reeves, good morning. Hoping for a longer show this morning. Darren, we were at the end of the show yesterday anyway, man. Like, my absolute, total hard stop is 8 o'clock Central because I got to get Drew up and get him dressed and get him out to school. So we were done anyway, but yeah, I was done. Jason Horn, Sean, Michael, Habits, good morning, Southwest Louisiana here. I love it. Set a button. Let's see. Bob Poole, good morning. Brandon Mall, sucks for people in Hammond that are just out of reach of all NBR radio stations. Brandon, you should be able to get 104.9 in Hammond. But I'll tell you this, Brandon, we are always, and I mean always, looking at expansion options. And I very much understand that part of the I-12 corridor from Hammond, then farther east to Covington, Mandeville, is a spot that we have a huge following of people maybe who work in New Orleans or from New Orleans who now live on the North Shore. And I'm telling you, I can't disclose anything, but that is very, very, very much a focus. And I would love to be in North Louisiana as well. So I would love to be in Monroe. I'd love to be in Shreveport. So listen, I want to touch every corner of the state. I mean, that's my expansion vision for AFR, is to be in every market in this state. No matter where you are in Louisiana, you can hear us on terrestrial radio. So that's a goal of mine. We'll keep pushing for it. Becky Herod, good morning. Brian Arsenault. Yeah, a lot of people use the app, Brian, and we're grateful for it. And I'll tell y'all something else too. I know we hear a lot of people have mentioned maybe issues with the app or streaming or cutting out of this or that, or your user experience on the app. We are always and currently looking at fixes and potential options and upgrades. Trivia Carter, Tim Gotro, Larry Garner, Nick Newbill, Rick Hess, Wendell Norman. Good morning, y'all. Thanks for being here. Jesse Brown. Morning. Let's see. With the Saints adding Washington, does this finally spell the end for wide receiver Traquan Smith? Jesse, probably not. As much as I hate to say it, like they see the Saints see tremendous value in Traquan Smith's ability to block, and I don't. I think he stinks, and he's infuriating, and I wouldn't want him on my team. But they keep re-signing him, which tells you their thought process. Now, what Jesse's asking, Saints signed James Washington yesterday, former Ohio State receiver. Second round pick of Pittsburgh, had some really productive years in Pittsburgh, and then last year signed with Dallas as a free agent. Hurt his foot and played in only 2 games, but a guy that's a young veteran at 27 years old who's had some productive years. So when you look at the Saints receiving group, and remember, they're probably going to keep 5 receivers. Olave, Michael Thomas, in no particular order after this, Rashid Shaheed, Brian Edwards, who you signed from the Raiders, that's 4. James Washington, who you just signed as well, that's 5. Traquan is 6. And then you have Kirk Merritt, Quan Baker, there's another undrafted guy I'm forgetting, who's been hanging around for a while. Whatever. My point is, you've probably got 9 or 10 receivers that you're going to have in camp, and 5 are going to make the team. So, some maybe even one of those guys you just signed, Washington or Edwards, may not make the team. We'll see how it goes in camp. Matt Plavidal, good morning. Shelby Kelly, congrats on cracking Lafayette and Lake Charles. A buddy texted me last night, all excited AFR was going to finally be on a local station. I'm fired up for it, man. Shelby, y'all help us spread the word. It's the best thing we can do. And, you put out a tweet, you put out a social media post, you mention on air, you try to tell people, but the thing that you realize in doing this for as long as I have is that, it's hard to get into every nook and cranny and create habits. So you need people to sort of be that word of mouth and that virality for you. The WBTR is a great example. So we've been on WBTR TV now for months. And still every day I have people say, man, I used to watch you all the time on CST, but I can't watch anymore. And I have to remind them, look, we're on WBTR in Baton Rouge at Channel 19, so set your DVR. Or if you have a smart TV, you can stream us on YouTube if you want to watch. Just pull up the YouTube app on your TV and you can watch us there. So people go ahead and realize. So, it's just a matter of continuing to remind folks. Thomas Lamont, Lafayette guy here, excited about AFR move. Now I can listen to you in my car without using my phone. Love it, love it, love it, man. Thank you so much. Set a button. ESPN 103.7. So right now it's 103.7 the game. But June 26th is when it will be rebranded. So just in time for us heading to media days, training camp, fall camp for LSU, football season. Excited about it. Joey Metke, Nick Newbill, not sure what pitching we have available for midweek. I'm sure a carousel. I would say look at who threw on, if you look at who threw on Sunday, and I mean everybody did, you look at who had a shorter outing, like the most obvious one that comes to mind is Blake Money. Here you go. Let's see, here we go. So Gavin Guidry only threw 19 pitches. Christian Little only threw 17 pitches. Money only threw 18 pitches. Ackenhausen only threw 9. Collins 18 pitches. Dutton only 8 pitches. You know, it might stand to reason that Dutton would get the start. Or Money gets the start tonight. So you could always bring back Thatcher Hurd and start him again. You know, he pitched Saturday, so he was off Sunday, Monday. He could probably start for you, give you an inning or two. So you got enough. You got enough to get through it. Just got to hit. Oh, hang on. Who's back by speed? Hang on. All right, smash that like button if you would. They're on YouTube. Subscribe up to the channel, please, if you haven't done so yet. Facebook. Excuse me, please like the Matt and Scone page, share the post. So I shout out to Brock. By the way, if you're on Facebook, I have Brock Rock and Wine now tagged. Brock Rock and Wine is their annual fundraiser event for the Brock Foundation. July 29th this year. July 29th. Live music, wine stations, food from vendors all over the city. Great event if you've never been to Brock Rock and Wine. You can visit brortho.com for more info, brortho.com. And of course, Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Love to give you a free, no obligation roofing inspection. Hudco is pinned in the chat, so just click that link. You can fill it out no matter where you are in the state of Louisiana. We'll come to literally any corner of the state of Louisiana. Hudco Roofing, hudcoroofing.com. Nick Newbill didn't realize the hate on Trey. He was the star of the third game. It isn't hate on Trey, Nick. It's this forever opinion by a lot of fans that Trey Morgan should be playing first base because I try to say this as politely as I can. Some people who don't watch a lot of baseball are dazzled by how flashy Trey Morgan is at first base, which is true. He's a very good athlete with a slick glove. That is true. There's also a reason why when you look around baseball, especially at the next level, you do not ever see an athletic first baseman. Because first base is the easiest position to play defensively. You literally stand on the base and catch the ball. So there's no reason to have a really athletic guy like Trey Morgan play first base. He will never play first base at the next level. That's something I've been saying for 3 years, and people are like, oh, no, man, he's so good at first. I'm like, it doesn't matter if he's good at first. He's more valuable in the outfield, making a diving catch on the line down left field, you know, face planting. I mean, running into the wall. Like, he's an athletic guy with a great glove. He's going to play in the outfield, and he can't play anywhere else in the infield because he's left-handed. So Trey Morgan is going to be an outfielder. I've said this for 3 years. Some of you don't want to believe it. You're seeing it now. No one, all the people who crapped on me for 3 years sure are quiet right now, but whatever. Anyway, so the point is, Nick, yesterday, someone in the 10th inning, Riley Cooper got a ground ball that would have been a double play, and Jared Jones started the double play. He got the ball at first. He started the double play throwing to second to get the force, then to come back to first. And the throw down to second was wide. So Thompson had to kind of like lunge for it, and they weren't able to turn the double play. And so someone yesterday said, oh, if Trey Morgan had been playing first. And that, of course, set me off, which is stupid because it's not like it had to be a spectacular play. It just needed to be a fundamental play, which anybody at the collegiate level should be able to make that throw from first to second accurately and turn that double play. You don't need a spectacular play from Trey Morgan. You needed a routine play that you didn't get. And that was unfortunately symptomatic of the entire team yesterday. A team that got shut out for 4 innings by a guy with a 10 ERA. LSU got up 13-4 and they mailed it in, man. They thought they had it. They thought they were done. And unfortunately they weren't. And it cost them. We can only hope that Washington sends Smith back to the island. Damon Gilmore, good morning. Nice to have you in Lafayette. Now, thank you, Damon. June 26th. June 26th. Let's see, a couple more minutes here. Read rule. Morning, Scone. Interested to see how the team does for the first time the entire country is not singing our praises. Reed, I think there's some validity to that. There's two things I think that LSU may have going for it. Number one is school's done. So, we talk about this every year. So it's not unique to this team. It literally happens every year where when the semester's done, it's now all about baseball. Guys can sleep in, they can get up in the morning, get their workouts in, then go spend the day at the field. They can rest, rehab, watch film. There's nothing to distract them other than baseball. So that's part of it. The other thing is when you're embarrassed like that, sometimes you have the us against the world type mentality, and you can use it as fuel. It's a different motivating factor than when you're great and you're motivated and you're driven by the expectations on your team. Right now, the expectation is they can't pitch and they're going to stink. So competitors should use that as fuel. We'll see. Joey Metke, congratulations on expanding your show. I listen every day out here in Southern California on YouTube. Always smash the like button. Love your show. Thanks for what you do. Thank you, Joey. Very kind of you, man. I appreciate it very much. Tiger Diver, Brett DeGrow, good morning. Cliff Nelson, what up? Barry Joslin, good morning. Weston Weaver, morning, Matt. Great interview with Teddy yesterday. Very insightful. We're pumped to hear you over here in the metropolis of Eunice. Hey, man, my dogs, you see right there. Well, there's Valley and Maggie's right there. I got them from a boxer breeder in Eunice. The Joe Bears. I don't know if you know the Joe Bears, but Joe Bears Boxer Barn is what they called it. And if you know the Joe Bears, shout them out for me. Haven't forgotten them. Let's see. Randall Aufrecht, good morning. What's your thoughts on replacing Wes Johnson? I think that's a terrible idea. I think LSU fans, just like the Fire Hobby days and all that stuff, always look for a scapegoat for what's wrong, and you ignore the things that go well. Not having Grant Taylor, losing Garrett Edwards and Chase Shores was massive. It's forced a total shuffle, and you're ignoring how much Ty Floyd has developed. You're ignoring Javen Coleman coming back off of UCL surgery. You're ignoring the fact that Gavin Guidry wasn't even pitching in the fall, and he's become a contributor for you. Griffin Herring, as a freshman, has come in and developed nicely. So, could it be better? Do I wish it was better? Yes. Have you also had a lot of bad luck? Yes. And to those people, and someone mentioned this yesterday, it was like, oh, Wes Johnson's a pro coach, not a college coach. He was literally the best pitching coach in the country when he was at Arkansas. Like, he's the one that started the jump started the whole Arkansas surge under Dave Van Horn with the arms they had on the mound. So Wes Johnson's fine, man. This team's had a lot of bad fortune. They've had some guys that certainly haven't produced, and some of the injuries have hurt them. But there's also things that they've done exceptionally well. Like, can we not also forget Paul Skeens' development? Like, Paul Skeens wasn't throwing 100 at Air Force last year with 150 strikeouts and like 70 innings pitched. So let's not be completely ridiculous. Hard to do, I know, but let's try not to be. Jordan Coleman, good morning. Moving to Montana in April. I'll be sure to bring the Tigers with me. Okay. Brandon Levasseur, morning, Matt. Are you looking forward to the Lafayette people trying to correct you on how to say the school's name every day? No, Brandon, because honestly, the majority of the fans living in Lafayette are LSU fans. ULL has its core, and that's great. And it's no different than, people in the Bayou region that love Nichols, or people in Lake Charles that love McNeese or Monroe that love ULM, and all that's fine and great and good, and you should. But all of those people love LSU as well. It's not a binary thing, or as Terry would say, it's not digital. So, no, I mean, if there needed to be a show that catered specifically to those sports teams, there would be, but that's not going to change my show. My show is established, and it's what it is. It's and people all over the state listen to it. We stream it and YouTube, and I mean all the things we talk about all the time. So I'm excited. I remember when we first expanded into ESPN New Orleans, there was that question, like, are you going to talk more Saints, Pelicans, because our affiliate there is the Nichols flagship? Are you going to talk Nichols? I'm just going to keep doing my show. You know what I mean? Like, the show as is what attracted people to it. So I'm just going to keep doing my show. So anyway, Pat Usman streaming from the North Shore this morning. All right, Pat, appreciate you for being there. Oh, I got a couple of minutes left. Please smash the like button. As always, shout out to Brock and Hudco. You need orthopedics, go to Brock. Roof, call Hudco. Hudco's pinned in the chat. Also, Restored Motions. If you got pain, book a session with Crystal Poche. I was talking to my brother-in-law this weekend, man. He's got like trigger finger and neck hurt and all that stuff. I'm like, go see Crystal, bro. Don't get an injection. Don't get a pain-killing injection. All that does is it's just going to mask the pain. And pain is your body telling you, stop doing this. You mask it, you keep doing it, you make the problem worse. Fix the problem. Go see Crystal Poche at Restored Motions. Right. Trey Potan, Megan Hurst, good morning. Barry Day, Michael Cook, John Ellis, good morning. All right, any more? My apologies. Trying to see if we can scroll through quickly. It's 8 o'clock, I gotta go. One more. David Bass, Brian Wynn, Irfan Sayad, David Durr. Do you think Georgia will use the same approach as State did, hold back their number one until the second game? Dave, I don't think so, because Georgia doesn't really have the Friday night ace. So like Auburn and State the last 2 weeks had a front of the rotation guy, and after that had a significant drop off. And so it behooved them to hold their number two. Georgia doesn't really have that. So I guess my point is, it would have been like LSU a year ago, where you didn't really have a dominant Friday night guy. You know, Hilliard became really consistent for you, but that, you know, I think you understand what I mean. All right, it's 8 o'clock. I got to go. Y'all have an awesome day. AFR 3, we'll see you then. Peace.